Hi, it is Tuesday, December 23rd, 2025. I believe that we are in the early stages of a currency collapse. We are seeing the DXY, that's the dollar index against other currencies, has dropped under 98, which is extremely weak. At the same time, gold has broken out to all-time highs after a strong run up the last couple years. We are seeing other precious metals across the board are rising. We are seeing now copper and nickel joining the party. Nickel now over $7 a pound. Copper on the doorstep of $5.50 a pound. These are big time industrial commodities. Brent's ticked up to 62. That's the big one. When oil goes, that's when the pain hits the streets, because oil's an input in all that other stuff that people buy. So that's the one that's really going to hurt. Right now, it's just, oh, cute, some metals guys are making some money. Some shorts maybe are getting washed out, whatever. But that's where it becomes a real emergency. And this can happen fairly immediately. Christmas is a celebration of the birth of Christ, but it has turned into, in the West, a pretty commercialized and some might even say blasphemous representation of Christ and what he preached, which was piousness, love, peace. A lot of people don't seem to support peace and charity and goodness these days. And we've lived in a decadent society that's been fueled by a credit bubble. And it looks to me like this is the end of the road. So, if you're not yet in metal, silver is now 72 an ounce. I have some silver eagles I bought in 2011 for $50 a piece. So those are now appreciated. Yeah, we had a big sell-off after that moment. But this is different. We've had a structural shortage for years. This appears to be the culmination. It appears to be across metals. Because, a stacker, most stackers, gold or silver stackers, they would accept a swap for the other metal at the right ratio. So you can jiggle these ratios. You're short platinum, you might get someone to trade you platinum for gold, someone who doesn't trust fiat, but they trust different stores of value at the right ratios. And this appears to be what we're seeing is across metals. So, it's a fractional reserve system. It's a confidence game. I guess confidence still remains to the extent that there's still a lot of open um, positions in the futures market, but there's a physical market that demands metal. Um, there's an industrial market, there's an investment market, and this demand isn't going away. Price needs to change, but if you're an investor who doesn't trust fiat, there's no price you're going to sell to get fiat. So there's no reference point. So the price just keeps going up. And that's why I'm saying the dollar's collapsing. So another thing you should do, get metal, get silver, get junk silver if you trust Bill Holter, who has studied this a long time. All right. Another thing you should do is get a copy of my book Discourse, because I talk about this exact circumstance and how we get through it. So that's important. Beyond that, I want you to know that other things can be put in play. The more economic freedom we get, the more can be put in play. But even in the current legal system, when this goes down, you got to remember the legal system's still in place. Police aren't going to just immediately stop showing up to work. The troops aren't just going to stand down. Like, this structure's still in place. There's just an emergency situation that needs to be resolved. And so, within that structure, and an awareness of that structure, do what you can to take care of yourself, make the trades you got to make the connections you got to make to survive. Watch my videos and know that some of us have planned for this. And there are certain structures that can arise especially once we get economic freedom, but even to some degree within what currently exists. And that's all I'll say about that. Have a good one.